and not pick one game. I just am blown away by the success the Pac-12's had. And nobody saw this coming, including me. And I've been a Pac-12 fan for my entire life. Both my parents went to Cal. So it's really the conference I've watched more than anything. And I still do. And especially now, not only being a Cal fan, but also being incorporated over at ASU and teaching a class that I have my eyes on the Devils. And unfortunately, my first year working for ASU was not a great start from a basketball campaign, but I don't think I had anything to do with that. And I hope that they rally. They certainly have some talent and some excitement. And I am a Bobby Hurley fan. I am. I like the guy. So, but as far as the Pac-12 is concerned, who saw this coming? Did you guys see this coming?
Not at all.
Not at all. Especially, I did not see UCLA beating Alabama. I think Joe and I both picked the Crimson Tide to go to the Elite Eight, but UCLA had different plans.
That was one of the surprises for sure. I know Oregon State ended up losing to Houston, but that one, of all those teams, that was a crazy bracket because there were so many orange teams in the South region. Mm-hmm. I think it was the South, right? That's the one that Houston just beat Oregon State in.
Midwest.
Midwest. Thank you. Yeah, I should know that Syracuse was there, my alma mater. And, of course, that was the one that I was rooting the hardest for. And they did make a nice run, and I'm pretty excited they made it to the Sweet 16 and at the same time devastated that they couldn't get the job done and match my wife's Wolverines in the Elite Eight because we got a little in-house battle going, as Ed remembers from back in the day. So, that didn't happen. I am impressed with the Pac-12, though. USC, UCLA, Oregon State. And I know I'm leaving somebody out that is not coming to my mind that also advanced, but just an unbelievable performance. And I didn't expect that. Other things that stood out, I already mentioned Syracuse. Got to give them love. I don't know if anybody's going to beat Gonzaga this time. Maybe they actually have it finally. Maybe this is the year of the Zags because, they've had good teams in the past. Mark Few has taken them there. They've been to the Final Four. But this might be, their year. I'm not sure, how it plays out. USC is a tough matchup. They got pros on that team. So they're going to give Gonzaga a battle, I think. And, Baylor, I think, is another team that looks like a championship level team to me. Like to me, those are the two teams head and shoulders above. I didn't pick either one of them to win it, though. I'm the idiot that picked Illinois, so I was out early.
I think many of us did because I did two brackets. On one of them, I had an Illinois, so that was a total bust. Most of my bracket was a total bust. I'm still hanging on by a thread with my final two picks. But yeah, oh goodness, no. So, who do you have predictions for who you see going to the championship for the head-to-head?
Yeah, I guess I'll go with those two. I'll go Gonzaga, Baylor at this point. And then I think I'd just give a small edge to the Zags. I think this might be their time. I think everything kind of leading up to it. It'd be monumental for that small school in with Spokane, right? Washington? Is that Spokane. It would be monumental. They've already built such an amazing program. It obviously dates back to John Stockton before many people probably watching remember hearing the name Gonzaga. That was the first I had ever heard of it, just knowing that he went there, but I didn't have any clue where it was, what it was, or anything other than it had a Z in it and it sounded funny. So that was kind of my take on Gonzaga. Until college, when I was in college, they started having like regularly competitive teams. But the question was always, can they compete under the brightest lights as this small school that doesn't get a chance to play at the Rupp Arenas and the Carrier Domes of the world. But, now that you have these guys that have made it to the tournament almost every single year, I know this group has, and Mark Few for the most part has as a coach, then it starts to become just, a tradition, and it starts to become normal that you're going up against the biggest basketball schools in the world in March. And hopefully, the lessons they've learned along the way enable them to get it done. I think I'm probably I just talked myself into rooting for them during this whole conversation.
That's a very great pitch, Jon.
Well, I should say Wolverines first. Happy wife, happy life, right? So it's got to be Michigan first. Got to pull for them. But without a full squad, it's hard to imagine Juwan Howard's team gets it done. But give that dude a lot of credit. He's building something special in Ann Arbor. A lot of people love Juwan Howard. He has a great reputation in basketball, and that's going to take him a long, long ways as a head coach.
You're right. He's done a phenomenal job there, 23-4, but they're going to face a really tough Bruins team come Tuesday for the right to go to the Final Four, and then USC Gonzaga. I think USC is going to give Gonzaga a tougher game than a lot of people probably give him credit for. But you're right, USC has got some pros there, the Mobleys and that young man White. Mm-hmm. Those guys can play some basketball.
No doubt. Evan Mobley, maybe the number one pick in the draft. You haven't seen him play yet. He is dynamic. He's 6'10", but he plays like he's 6'2", 6'3". Can do a number of different things. And I say that in a good way. He plays like 6'2", 6'3" on offense, but on defense, he plays like 7-footer. So, he's got a number of different tricks in his bag, and it's hard for me to praise USC. I've never loved that school. But they're impressive. And remember, their coach made a run with Florida Gulf Coast with that squad of guys. There weren't pros on that team. Maybe one guy, I think, made the league for a little bit. But, this is a whole different ball of wax with the group he has. And so I'm interested to see how they play. Like I said, I think that's a tough matchup for Gonzaga, but I just think this might be it for the Zags. They might have the right makeup with this team, with size, with some shooting. They always have, guys making the right plays and good basketball IQ on that squad. They bring players in from all over the world every year, and somehow Mark Few gets them all speaking the same language of basketball, which is a beautiful thing to watch. And so I think they still have a chance. And I base it in with their advantage against USC. It's not going to be athleticism. It's going to be in those smarts. It's going to be in that experience factor if they win that game.
Jon, right now you're just music to my ears. I will say that because you don't know, but many know already, and I'm pretty transparent about it. That Gonzaga is my team, so I root for them year after year, and really crossing my fingers.
I didn't know that.
Ed, well, actually, Gonzaga was my dream school, and that's where I was planning to go. Unfortunately, family situation didn't allow me to pursue that. So then I became a Sun Devil, but they're still here in my heart, and I'll root for them and have never stopped. So,
well, that's exciting. Now I have even more reason to cheer for them. All right. That's great. I'll feel fantastic for you if they get it done at the end, and I'll also feel like I'm a little bit smarter than I thought I was.
and if anything happens, I will cry either way. I will cry. It's just a very emotional roller coaster, when it comes to March Madness.
Oh, are you kidding me? Ask Ed. If the Suns ever get it done, I will be a blubbering mess. I will be a mess. I cried when the Giants won their first World Series in 2010. I say their first, but it was their first in my lifetime. I know they won way back in New York in the 50s, but that doesn't count for me. Mm-hmm. So when they won in 2010, I had one of my best friends on my couch. We both were crying like babies. So I get you, Joe, and I hope you get to shed those tears of joy.
Hopefully. And then I want to ask you, because we were talking here about some players in NCAA, and we know what happens after NCAA college basketball is over. Everyone starts getting ready, and then we have the NBA draft. So a little bit down the road. So with what you've seen so far, and out of these players, there's just so much great talent, so many players out there. And is there anyone that catches your eye, who you have an eye on, that, hey, this would be a top draft pick, and or maybe someone who would benefit out of one of these players, or picking up one of these great talents?
Well, I mentioned Evan Mobley. He's definitely one that stands out to me. But obviously we're not talking Suns now, because they're not going to be picking anywhere close to getting these guys. But the other guy for me is Cade Cunningham from Oklahoma State. I know he came in with a lot of hype. Is probably the number one recruit, and so already he was on everybody's radar. But I was impressed by him living up to that hype. I thought he did. Now the team did make a great run in the tournament, but that's not always an indicator. He still got him to the tournament, and it was a pretty young team. So I look at other players where I hesitate because of their lack of success when they're, very hyped players and they're 18, 19 years old. I hesitate to start to think that this player is going to be the next superstar. But Cade Cunningham he might actually have that in him. I think he's better than Anthony Edwards, and Anthony Edwards has been tremendous for the Minnesota Timberwolves as a rookie from Georgia. And I think Cade Cunningham is a more well-rounded basketball player coming into the league. But it doesn't mean he's going to have 30, 40-point games like Edwards has. It's all dependent on where he goes. That's the other thing you got to remember when you talk about the NBA draft. It's about these players and their potential, but it's also about their fit. With the team that they're going to. And sometimes you're blessed because you go to a team that doesn't need you right away and you're able to work your way in and learn some things that make you even better. Sometimes you get thrust right into it. And, different players have different reactions. I have been very impressed by this year's rookie class, specifically LaMelo Ball, who is much better than I anticipated him being for the Charlotte Hornets, already making a big-time winning impact in basketball. That's impressive to me, and it's sad that we don't get to see him for the rest of the season. Anthony Edwards also surpassing my expectations with the Minnesota Timberwolves, and I think Tyrese Halliburton, Sacramento Kings, has surpassed everybody's expectations, and there's a lot of teams that are going to regret passing him up, including maybe the Phoenix Suns here. So I think, we'll see how this class shapes up. But the two guys I think that I'm willing to kind of stake my reputation on are the two I mentioned, Evan Mobley and Cade Cunningham from Oklahoma State.
Ed, do you have one last question for John before we let him go?
I think he's covered pretty much everything. Yeah. We've had the man for 45 minutes. He's a professor. He's got to get ready to teach kids and
I got to go grade some papers,
Yeah.
It's nice. How'd you
really easy.
Like a softy, Joe? You picked it. You know what? It's been a thrill. It's been a lot of fun to do that. And it's been a lot of fun talking hoops with you guys. I look forward to doing it again sometime. I'm excited that we got a 3-game homestand coming up this week for the Suns. And hopefully, if you guys haven't been there yet, you get a chance to come see this arena, what they've done to it. I mean, you wouldn't recognize it if you were there before. And for those who've never been, hope you get to come for the first time. And hopefully they're going to continue, in the right direction. We're trending right. We've been adding instead of subtracting as far as people coming to the gym. So I hope that continues because when they get to the playoffs, I'm just praying that we can fill that place and it can be bumping like it should be for this squad. So we can all cross the fingers that happens.
And Bloomer, I hope, I hope there's a day where you and I can get back together and do post-game shows together down at the arena. That'll be a great day. I miss doing those games with you, brother. And it's not the same without you.
Likewise, Ed. Thanks again for having me.
Yeah, definitely. So soon enough. And then what you just saying, all that you just said, John, that just gives me chills. So hopefully, fingers crossed that will happen. And I've heard nothing but great things of the arena, how the way it's, the new build. And I just can't wait to check it out. Hopefully I'll be able to make it to a game soon, even if it's as a fan and not as media, with everything going on with that right now, safety measures and everything. But hopefully we'll get to see each other there soon again, and we'll have you on again.
Sounds good. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you. Have a great night.
Thank you, Bloomer.
See you guys.
Oh, gosh. John is just amazing. I know we can just keep on talking, but,
he's the best.
To carry on. And just before we move on, and we will have another guest joining us here momentarily, but I want to go ahead and dive in a little bit more into NCAA like we did last time, Ed, and continue with that. So where do we start? Should we start with Midwest region for the bracket and just, kind of go down that for the next few minutes here?
Yeah, well, we already know the Midwest is already punched with Houston going to the Final Four.
Yes, Houston, and oh my goodness, Houston is just a force to reckon with. I thought Syracuse, that game was close, and I thought Syracuse was probably going to come out and give them a little bit more of a fight, but Houston just did not let go. So I think I'm a little scared because I think they might end up going against who my top pick is for the South.
That would be, they'd go up against Baylor.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Houston almost gave that game up, Joe. They were up 17 at halftime, and Oregon State made a furious rally in the second half. But it showed Houston's timely stops from a defensive standpoint. Yeah, they were reeling. It looked like everything was falling apart, but when they needed to make stops defensively, they made those stops. They didn't shoot that well. They shot 32% as a team, but they out-rebounded Oregon State by 12. Oregon State missed 9 free throws. That's a critical thing. We always talk about the little things, Joanna, especially come tournament time. You cannot miss 9 free throws and get out